Operation Thunderfall. The Nyx Collective warped into Earth's solar system 3 weeks ago, their massive biomechanical hive ships blotting out the stars as they moved inexorably toward humanity's homeworld. Pluto's defense station fell silent within hours. Neptune's colonies sent desperate pleas for help before their transmissions cut off mid-sentence. The Jupiter defense line, once considered humanity's unbreakable shield, crumbled in just 2 days. Commander Elena Reyes stood on the observation deck of the EDF Invictus, Earth's last functioning capital ship, watching the tactical display with eyes that hadn't closed in nearly 72 hours. The holographic projection showed the approaching alien armada, hundreds of ships ranging from nimble fighters to the massive mothership that dwarfed anything humanity had ever built. Jupiter's moons were now lifeless rocks. Mars had gone dark 6 hours ago. How long? Reyes asked, her voice steady despite everything. Lieutenant Santos checked his console. 36 hours until they reach Earth's orbit, Commander. Reyes nodded, her expression betraying nothing. The lieutenant was young. Too young to remember the First Contact War or the colony massacres. Too young to have watched his family die on distant worlds as she had. But he was a good officer, and he deserved better than the end that was coming. "Send the authorization," she said finally. "Prometheus is a go." Santos paled. "Commander, are you certain?" "The ethical committee never." "The ethical committee isn't watching billions of people about to die." Reyes cut him off. "Send it. Now." As Santos transmitted the code, Reyes turned back to watch the approaching armada. Humanity had thrown everything at the Nyx. Nuclear missiles, antimatter bombs, even the experimental quantum disruptors. Nothing had even scratched their hulls. The aliens hadn't communicated, hadn't made demands. They simply appeared and began systematically exterminating human settlements. Now only one option remained: Project Prometheus. Deep beneath the lunar surface, in a facility that officially didn't exist, 300 soldiers waited. They had once been ordinary men and women. Some of Earth's finest warriors, yes, but still human. That was before Project Prometheus transformed them into something else. Captain Marcus Chen removed the neural interface from his temple as the authorization code came through. The burning sensation that followed was familiar now. Nanomachines surging through his bloodstream, reconfiguring his body for combat. Around him, his fellow soldiers were doing the same, their eyes glowing with an unnatural blue luminescence. "It's time," he announced to the assembled troops. No one spoke. They all knew what awaited them. None of them would survive more than 72 hours after deployment. Their enhanced bodies would simply break down. The price of transcending human limitations was, inevitably, death. Chen had accepted that bargain willingly, as had they all. "Prometheus team, gear up," he ordered. "Drop pods in 20 minutes. The soldiers moved with inhuman precision, donning their specially designed combat suits. The armor was sleek and black, absorbing light rather than reflecting it. It wasn't designed for protection. Their enhanced bodies could already withstand damage that would kill an ordinary human instantly. Rather, the suits contained systems to regulate their accelerated metabolisms and house the additional weapons they would carry. In the armory, Private Aisha Cowrie selected her loadout: a molecular blade that could cut through almost any known material, a pulse rifle modified for her enhanced strength, and a dozen smart grenades that responded to her neural commands. Like all Prometheus soldiers, her mind had been augmented with combat AI and tactical systems that gave her reaction times thousands of times faster than a normal human. "Having second thoughts?" asked Sergeant Ramirez, materializing beside her with the unnatural silence their modifications allowed. Cowrie smiled, but it didn't reach her glowing eyes. "About dying?" "No. About whether it'll be worth it. Maybe." 300 of us against their entire armada," Ramirez said. "Longest odds I've ever faced." "Good thing we're not entirely human anymore," Cowrie replied, checking her blade. "Otherwise, I might be scared." Commander Rice arrived at the lunar base with barely an hour to spare. She watched from the command center as the Prometheus soldiers loaded into their drop pods, specialized assault craft designed to penetrate the Nyx ship's hulls. Each pod was essentially a kinetic weapon with a human payload, engineered to survive impact velocities that would vaporize conventional craft. Captain Chen approached her, his movements fluid yet somehow wrong. Too perfect, too calculated. The attack plan is unchanged. Rice confirmed. Your primary target is their mothership. If you can disable their central command, we believe their coordinated attack strategy will collapse. Chen nodded. And the secondary objectives? Any damage you can inflict. Weapon systems, engines, communications. Make them bleed, Captain. It will be done. There was something unsettling about how calm he was, facing what amounted to a suicide mission. But then, the Prometheus process had dampened certain emotional responses. Fear, hesitation, doubt, all minimized to create more effective soldiers. Captain, Rice said, lowering her voice, what you and your people are doing, history will remember it. History is written by survivors, Commander, Chen replied. Make sure there are some. The drop pods launched from the lunar base like meteors, 300 streaks of fire arcing toward the approaching alien fleet. From the Invictus, Rice watched their trajectories, a carefully choreographed assault designed to hit multiple Nyx vessels simultaneously. The aliens had never faced an internal attack before. Their defenses were focused outward, not inward. It was humanity's last, desperate gambit. In her drop pod, Private Cowrie felt nothing as her vessel accelerated to speeds that would have turned an unmodified human to paste. The Prometheus alterations had reinforced her skeleton with carbon nanotubes, strengthened her muscles with synthetic fibers, and filled her bloodstream with military-grade nanites that could repair catastrophic damage in seconds. She wouldn't survive long-term, but she didn't need to. She just needed to survive long enough. The tactical display inside her pod showed the massive Nyx mothership growing larger. Hundreds of alien fighters swarmed around it like insects protecting their queen. None of them seemed to notice the relatively tiny drop pods rocketing toward them, or perhaps they simply didn't register them as threats. That would be their mistake. Impact in 30 seconds, announced the pod's eye. Prepare for breach protocol. Cowrie readied her weapons, her enhanced mind already calculating attack vectors and probable enemy positions. Around her, the other pods were doing the same, each carrying the soldier transformed beyond human limitations, each aimed at a critical point on the alien vessels. For Earth, she whispered, a fragment of her humanity surfacing briefly as the pod hit the mothership's outer hull at 12 times the speed of sound. The impact should have killed her instantly. Instead, she felt only a jolt as the pod's inertial dampeners absorbed the worst of it. Then came the familiar sound of molecular drills boring through the alien ship's hull, the screech of metal and organic material giving way. When the pod's hatch blew open, Cowrie was already moving, her enhanced reflexes allowing her to assess and respond to threats before a normal human could even process what they were seeing. 3 Nyx drones waited in the corridor, tall, insectoid beings with armored exoskeletons and multiple limbs ending in energy weapons. They never had a chance to fire. Cowrie moved like a blur, her molecular blade slicing through the first drone's armor like it was paper. The second managed to raise its weapon before her boot connected with what passed for its head, the enhanced strength behind the kick shattering its skull. The third fired a plasma burst that would have vaporized an unmodified human, but Cowrie's nanites were already hardening her skin, turning the devastating blast into merely excruciating pain. She returned fire, her pulse rifle discharging with a sound like thunder in the confined space. The drone's body exploded into a spray of ichor and mechanical components. Breach point secured, she subvocalized, the message transmitted instantly to the other Prometheus soldiers through their neural network. Proceeding to objective. Similar reports flooded in from across the mothership and the other Nyx vessels. The Prometheus soldiers were inside, and the real battle was beginning. Captain Chen landed near what their intelligence suggested was the mothership's command center. His pod had punched through multiple decks, creating a path of destruction that disoriented the Nyx defenders. He exploited their confusion, moving with inhuman speed through the alien corridors, his molecular blade leaving a trail of dismembered drones behind him. The Nyx ship was unlike anything humans had encountered before, a fusion of technology and biology that seemed to pulse with its own life. The walls glistened with a substance that was neither metal nor flesh, but somehow both. Conduits that might have been veins or power cables ran along surfaces, throbbing with energy. Chen's enhanced senses detected a change in the air, a shift in pressure, a subtle alteration in the electromagnetic field. He ducked just as a massive limb smashed into the wall where his head had been. This wasn't a drone. This was something else. The creature towered over him, nearly 3 meters tall, with an armored carapace that gleamed dully in the ship's bioluminescent lighting. Its 4 arms ended in various weapons, blades, energy projectors, and what appeared to be some kind of sonic weapon. A guardian. Intelligence had theorized their existence, but never confirmed it. Chen smiled, feeling the familiar rush of combat neurotransmitters flooding his system. The Prometheus process had enhanced his natural aggression, channeling it into focused lethality. "Let's see what you've got," he whispered, and then he was moving again, becoming the weapon he had been engineered to be. Across the mothership, other Prometheus soldiers were fighting similar battles. Some fell. Even with their enhancements, the Nyx defenses were formidable. But for every Prometheus soldier that died, dozens of aliens joined them. And deep in the ship's core, Private Cowrie made a discovery that would change everything. She had fought her way to what appeared to be a central processing node, a chamber filled with pulsating organic mechanical hybrid technology. The Nyx didn't use computers as humans understood them. Their technology was semi-sentient, grown rather than built. As Cowrie planted explosive charges around the chamber, her enhanced vision noticed something unusual, a pattern in the energy fluctuations, a rhythm in the pulses of light that coursed through the veins of the ship. A weakness. Command. She transmitted through the secure neural network. "I found something. The Nyx ships, they're not individual entities. They're a collective consciousness. The mothership isn't just directing them. It's thinking for them." Commander Raya's voice came back instantly. "Explain." "The neural architecture I'm seeing. It's a distributed network. Cut off the mothership, and the rest might not just be disorganized. They might be rendered completely non-functional." There was a pause as Reyes processed this information. "Can you confirm this theory?" Cowrie looked at the charges she placed around the chamber. "I'm about to find out." She activated the explosives and ran, her enhanced legs carrying her faster than any human had ever moved. Behind her, the charges detonated, destroying the central node in a cascade of blue-white energy. Throughout the mothership, the lights flickered. The constant hum that permeated the vessel faltered. And across the battlefield, the Nyx drones suddenly hesitated, their coordinated assault patterns dissolving into confusion. Humanity had found its opening. Humanity's defiance. All Prometheus teams, this is Commander Reyes. Private Cowrie's discovery is confirmed. The mothership is the central nervous system for the entire Nyx fleet. Captain Chen, redirect all available forces to the command center. We need to sever the head from the body. From the bridge of the EDF Invictus, Reyes watched as the tactical display updated in real time. The Nyx fighters, which had been executing complex attack patterns moments before, were now moving erratically. Some had collided with each other. Others were firing wildly, hitting their own vessels. "Lieutenant Santos, prepare all remaining ships," Reyes ordered. "The moment our teams confirm the mothership's control systems are offline, I want everything we have hitting their fleet." "Yes, Commander." Santos hesitated. "What about the Prometheus soldiers still on those ships?" Reyes' expression remained stoic, but her hands clenched behind her back. They knew the mission parameters when they volunteered. Inside the mothership, Captain Chen received the new orders as he dispatched another guardian. The creature fell in two pieces, bisected by his molecular blade. Chen's combat suit was torn in multiple places, revealing skin that glowed with the blue luminescence of active nanomachines repairing damage. Prometheus teams, converge on coordinates Alpha 7, he transmitted. Command center assault in 15 minutes. Acknowledgements came in from the surviving soldiers. Of the 100 that had boarded the mothership, 63 remained operational. Better than expected, but not enough. Not yet. Chen felt the first tremors in his left hand, the beginning signs of cellular breakdown. The Prometheus enhancements were designed to push human physiology far beyond its limits, but that acceleration came with a cost. His body was already starting to fail. He ignored it and continued forward, his blade cutting through Nick's defenders with mechanical precision. Time was running out, not just for him, but for humanity. Sergeant Ramirez led his squad through the mothership's ventilation systems, tunnels that were part mechanical duct, part organic breathing apparatus. The Nick ship was as much a living entity as it was a vessel, and Ramirez's team exploited this biology, planting specially designed bioweapons that would poison the ship from within. Central nervous system located, Ramirez reported, peering through a membrane into a vast chamber below. Hundreds of Nicks moved about, their movements becoming increasingly frantic as the ship's systems continued to malfunction after Kaori's attack. At the chamber's center stood a structure unlike anything they had seen before, a pulsating column of energy surrounded by what appeared to be organic computing nodes. Moving among them were Nicks that differed from the drones and guardians they had encountered so far. These were smaller, with enlarged cranial structures and delicate manipulator limbs. The control cast, whispered Specialist Chong, one of Ramirez's squad members, just like the intel suggested. Ramirez nodded. Captain Chen, we've located the primary target. Sending coordinates now. Chen's response came immediately. Hold position. All teams are converging. We strike together, or not at all. As the Prometheus teams repositioned for the final assault, Private Kaori fought her way through increasingly desperate Nick's defenders. Her enhanced body moved with fluid grace, but she could feel the changes beginning. The tremors, the moments of disorientation, the burning sensation in her muscles that no amount of nanite repair could address. The Prometheus process was reaching its conclusion. Her body was breaking down at the cellular level. A Nick's guardian rounded the corner ahead, its weapons already firing. Kaori dodged with enhanced reflexes, but she was a fraction slower than she had been an hour ago. A plasma burst caught her left shoulder, burning through armor and into flesh. Pain flared, bright and immediate, before her nanites suppressed it. She returned fire, her pulse rifles accelerated particles tearing through the Guardian's armored carapace. The creature collapsed, its internal fluid spilling across the corridor floor. Kaori checked her tactical display. 5 minutes until the coordinated assault on the command center. She would make it, but how effective would she be when she got there? How effective would any of them be as their bodies continued to deteriorate? It didn't matter. They only needed to succeed once. The Nicks only needed to fail once. Commander Rise watched from the Invictus as strange energy patterns began to ripple across the Nicks mothership's hull. "What am I looking at?" she demanded. "Some kind of defense mechanism," Santos replied, his fingers flying over his console. "The mothership is attempting to reassert control over the fleet. If it succeeds, then we lose our advantage." Rise finished. She opened a channel to the Prometheus teams. "Captain Chen, the mothership is attempting to reestablish fleet control. Whatever you're going to do it now." Inside the mothership, Chen received the message with grim determination. His left arm hung useless at his side, the muscles and tendons deteriorating faster than his nanites could repair them. Around him, the remaining Prometheus soldiers showed similar signs of breakdown. Trembling limbs, labored breathing, the blue glow of their eyes flickering like dying stars. But they weren't dead yet. All teams, execute final assault. Chen ordered. Remember your training. Remember Earth. Throughout the mothership, the Prometheus soldiers moved as one, converging on the command center from multiple directions. They fought with the desperate ferocity of those who had nothing left to lose, their enhanced bodies performing beyond human limitations even as they began to fail. Sergeant Ramirez's team breached from above, dropping into the command center through the ventilation system. Captain Chen led the frontal assault, his remaining functional arm wielding his molecular blade with deadly precision. Private Cowrie and her squad attacked from the rear, cutting off the Nexus escape routes. The battle was chaos, a whirlwind of advanced technology and enhanced human capability against alien physiology and superior numbers. The Nyx fought desperately to protect their control nexus, understanding perhaps for the first time that they faced an existential threat. In the midst of the fighting, Cowrie spotted an opening, a path to the central energy column that appeared to be the heart of the Nyx command system. She moved toward it, her body responding sluggishly now, the Prometheus enhancements failing with each passing minute. A guardian blocked her path, its 4 arms wielding weapons that could end her in an instant. Behind it, she could see the pulsating column, so close yet unreachable. "Captain," she transmitted, "I need a distraction." Chen didn't respond verbally. He simply changed direction, throwing himself at the guardian with reckless abandon. His molecular blade sliced through one of the creature's arms, drawing its attention away from Cowrie. She didn't waste the opportunity. Pushing her failing body to its limits, she sprinted past the guardian, reaching the central column. Up close, she could see that it wasn't solid. It was a swirling vortex of energy, data, and something else. Something almost like consciousness. Cowrie didn't hesitate. She armed every remaining explosive charge she carried and thrust her arm directly into the column. The energy burned. It felt like her molecules were being torn apart and reassembled incorrectly. Through the pain, she activated the detonation sequence. "Get clear," she screamed, both verbally and through the neural network. Captain Chen saw what she was doing and immediately ordered a retreat. "All teams, fall back. Cowrie's going to blow the central nexus." The Prometheus soldiers disengaged with the same precision they had shown throughout the battle, fighting their way back toward extraction points that many knew they would never reach. Their bodies were failing too quickly now, the price of their enhanced capabilities coming due. Private Cowrie couldn't move. The energy column had somehow trapped her, holding her in place as the detonation countdown continued. She watched as her fellow soldiers retreated, as Captain Chen paused at the chamber entrance, his glowing eyes meeting hers one final time. "For Earth," she transmitted, the words becoming a mantra repeated across the neural network by every Prometheus soldier. Chen nodded once, then was gone. Cowrie closed her eyes as the countdown reached 0. The explosion that followed wasn't just physical. It was as if the very fabric of the Nyx collective consciousness was being torn apart. The energy column collapsed in on itself, creating a cascade effect that spread throughout the mothership. From the Invictus, Commander Reyes watched as sections of the massive alien vessel went dark. "What's happening?" she demanded. "The mothership's systems are failing," Santos reported, his voice tight with disbelief. "And look, the rest of the fleet." On the tactical display, the Nyx vessels were drifting, their coordinated formations dissolving into random movements. Some had stopped moving entirely. Others were firing weapons, seemingly at random. Private Cowrie was right. Reyes breathed. The mothership wasn't just directing them. It was thinking for them. She straightened, seizing the moment that her soldiers had purchased with their lives. "All ships, this is Commander Reyes. The Nyx fleet is vulnerable. Attack pattern Omega. I repeat, attack pattern Omega." Earth's remaining warships surged forward, weapons blazing. The once unstoppable Nyx Armada, now reduced to individual vessels operating without central coordination, began to fall. Inside the mothership, Captain Chen dragged himself toward his extraction point, his body failing more rapidly with each passing minute. The other surviving Prometheus soldiers were in similar conditions, some crawling, others supporting each other, all of them dying by inches as their enhanced physiologies broke down. They had known this would happen. They had volunteered anyway. Chen's vision blurred, the glowing blue fading from his eyes. Through the neural network, he could feel other soldiers winking out, their enhanced minds going silent as their bodies finally surrendered to the inevitable consequences of the Prometheus process. Command, he transmitted, his mental voice weak. Mission accomplished. The mothership is neutralized. Rhea's voice came back, clear despite the distance and interference. Acknowledged, Captain. Extraction teams are inbound. Chen didn't bother responding. They both knew that extraction was a formality at this point. None of the Prometheus soldiers would survive long enough to return to Earth. Their bodies were breaking down too quickly, the price of their temporary godhood coming due. But they had succeeded. Humanity would survive. As Chen's consciousness began to fade, he felt something unexpected: pride. Not just in their victory, but in what it represented. Humanity had faced extinction and refused to accept it. When conventional weapons failed, they had transformed their own bodies into weapons. When death seemed certain, they had embraced it on their own terms. The Nyx had superior technology, superior numbers, superior everything. But they had underestimated the human capacity for sacrifice. 3 days later, Commander Reyes stood on the observation deck of the Invictus, watching as the remains of the Nyx fleet were systematically destroyed by Earth's resurgent forces. Without their central intelligence, the alien vessels were little more than floating targets. Lieutenant Santos approached, datapad in hand. Final report on the Prometheus teams, Commander. Reyes took the pad, though she already knew what it would say. None of the enhanced soldiers had survived. Their bodies had broken down completely within hours of the mothership's destruction, just as the scientists had predicted. 300 volunteers, 300 lives, exchanged for billions saved. Has the data been secured? She asked. Santos nodded. All information regarding Project Prometheus has been classified at the highest level, as ordered. Good. Reyes handed the datapad back. The world doesn't need to know what those soldiers became in order to save us, only that they did. She turned back to the viewport, watching as Earth came into view, blue and beautiful and still alive, because 300 men and women had been willing to become something more than human, knowing it would destroy them. When the memorial is built, she said quietly, make sure it says this: they fell from the skies like thunder, and in their sacrifice, humanity found its salvation. Santos saluted and withdrew, leaving Reyes alone with her thoughts and the weight of command. Outside, Earth continued to turn, ignorant of how close it had come to extinction, and of the price paid to ensure its survival. In the darkness between the stars, there would be other threats, other enemies. But humanity had proven something to the universe and to itself. Defeat was never inevitable. Not as long as people were willing to fight, to sacrifice, to become what the moment demanded of them. Not as long as there were heroes willing to rain down from orbit like angels of vengeance. Not as long as humanity endured.